to the Classy Career Girl podcast. I'm Anna Runyon, and this show is all about motherhood, calling, meaningful work, and building flexible income around real life. Because I believe you really can have it all. Let's dive in. Welcome, everyone, to the Classy Career Girl podcast. Here on the podcast, we talk a lot about building conversations and building trust. And visibility is a big thing we're focusing on this month as we're growing our businesses. And so I had to have our next guest on today because I want you all to be able to attract high-paying clients without being online 24/7 or buying ads. And that is what our guest is an expert on today. As CEO and founder of Tracy Beavers Coaching, Tracy has a proven track record in business growth. With an award-winning career spanning 20 years, Tracy has guided hundreds of entrepreneurs to grow their visibility through organic marketing strategies. She helps established online business owners build a visibility ecosystem that consistently grows their email lists and attracts high-paying clients without being online 24/7 or buying ads. So big welcome to you today, Tracy. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, I'm excited. We were talking before this. We could talk for a long time on this topic. So I'm excited we get to have other people listen in on this. This is just fun for us, I think.
Yes,
so tell me first about, you mentioned you were fed up with corporate America and you hatched a plan to exit and build your own business. So tell us first about that experience.
Well, that was an interesting experience because growing up, my dad worked for himself. He was an entrepreneur, self-employed, and he made it look terrible. Like, I was like, oh, there's no way in heck I'm ever going to be self-employed. I am definitely going to get a job and work for somebody else. So that was the track I was on. I was determined to be, climb up the corporate ladder, vice president of all things important, whatever. And but around, and also, I grew up in the generation, I'm sure I'm years older than you, but I grew up in the generation where you go to high school, you graduate, you go to college, you graduate, you get a job, you're thankful for the job, but you stay in the job for 40 years, and then you get to retire with a pension, there's a word you don't hear anymore, a gold watch and a retirement party, right? Mm-hmm. And none of that was happening because around 2005, corporations started to downsize and right size and give severance packages, and I was like, okay, this is not as stable as I thought it was. And then fast forward through some toxic bosses, some job descriptions that didn't go well. I went through some right sizing and downsizing, and I was like, wow. And the final straw for me was back in, I'm trying to think of how many years ago it was. I think it was 2018-ish, maybe. It was around 7 years ago. I was working for a CEO at this company, and I had built his market share because I was always in sales. I was in marketing, sales, business development. I was really good at it. Grew the company here in Little Rock 86% the first year I was there. And we were on track to grow another 38-ish% or something in the second year. And he had the nerve. These are not the words he used, but this is what he meant. He said that I was making too much money. He didn't think I was going to be that successful, and he was going to change the commission plan. And I was like, what in the world what kind of gibberish are you talking, man? That's what I wanted to say to him. Was like, I can't hear anything you're saying because this doesn't make any sense. And so I was like, wow, okay. So corporate really isn't as stable as I thought. I knew I didn't have any control over my time because they tell you when you can take a break and when you can go on vacation and all that jazz. But I thought being in sales with a commission plan, I'll just print money.
Sky's the limit. Yeah.
Right? No, that wasn't true either. And I was like, holy cow. And so I was really, really disenchanted. And it started, I like to describe it as when you're wearing a jacket that's 2 sizes too small and you can't like move your arms and stuff. That's kind of how the corporate structure started to feel to me. And some really great friends of mine, I was in a women's mastermind, and they were like, you're really good in sales and you need to help people with sales. And I was like, sales is easy. Because when you're good at something, you think it's easy. And they were like, you have no idea what you're saying. They were like, sales is so hard. It's so hard for everybody. And aren't people asking you all the time how to help them build their businesses? And I was like, well, yeah. And they're like, you need to be a coach. Well, Anna, I'm in Arkansas, and we're slow on every single trend. Every single trend that comes along, we are slow on. We are the last ones to know about it. And I literally looked at them and I was like, that's a thing? And they were like, yeah, it's a thing. So I went and looked it up, and unbeknownst to me, the whole online space opened up, and I was like, wow, I really could have my own business and have clients all over the world. And so I just, dove in, but I had to build alongside my corporate job because I couldn't just leave that income. We're a dual income household. And back then the kids were in high school and middle school. So prom, cars, colleges, all the expensive stuff, right? So I built alongside the corporate job for about a year and a half and fully and was able to exit. And the funny part was corporate ended up exiting me. I thought I was going to get to pick the time that I was going to leave the job and do this full time. No, the company I was working for decided to close the office in Little Rock. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. There's one more sign that this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I said to my husband, well, I've got 2 months left on the job and I'm going to do this. And he was so sweet. He didn't mean it this way, but he said, well, let's just see where you are in about 6 months. But he didn't mean it the way it's, but I heard it as, let's just see where you are in 6 months. And I was like, oh, okay. Hold my purse. Here we go.
You got a challenge. I love it. There's a challenge. Yeah. And it's so good that you were building that on the side. You didn't know what was coming, but you had somewhere to leap to and somewhere to jump to, which is awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah. Thanks.
And so tell us, like, what made you get into exactly like helping people with email lists and visibility, and like how did you get your first clients?
Yeah. So where I started isn't where I am now. I'm sure everybody listening is like, oh, I can understand that, because we are constantly evolving with our businesses and tweaking and refining and figuring out what do our clients need. And every year, it seems like each year is different. Like 2026 is really different from years past. But I started out general. You could not get more general than me. I was general business and sales. Like, take all comers. I just need some clients. I need some testimonials. I need to work with some people. And so I started locally with people. I still have a very vast network here in Little Rock because I was in sales. I was everywhere. I was at the chamber. I was at Rotary. I was, you know what I mean? I had a lot of connections. So I reached out to people that I knew had their own businesses. And I said, hey, I'm doing this. If you ever feel like you're just stubbing your toe on something repeatedly, reach out to me. Let's talk about it. I might be able to help you. And so I started getting clients that way, and word started spreading. And then a friend of mine who was working for the University of Arkansas, he was over their small business development center. He said, we're bringing on consultants, because this was into mid 2020 when the pandemic was hitting. And they had a massive influx of businesses crying out for help. How do we keep our doors open during the pandemic? They also had an influx of a lot of people that got laid off during corporate and wanted to start a business. And so they needed more people like me to come in as a consultant. So I got some clients that way too. And I just started working. I just dove in and started working. And over time, I discovered that what I really love to do is, of course, help with the marketing and the sales. But for the people that I serve, they're coaches, course creators, and service providers. They were creating offers and putting them out into the world and not having anybody to buy them. Or they were creating a product and not having anybody to sell it to. And it was because they didn't first build an audience. They didn't first do the visibility work that gives you the list growth, that gives you the leads, so that you've got people you can talk to and have conversations that lead to sales. And so I started to see that over and over, and I was like, this is where I need to go. This is absolutely where I need to go. Because an email list will never, that is something that is not trendy. It's something that every single business needs to have. Even Subway sandwiches, they need to have an email list. Yeah, so I just was like, you know what? This is something that's classic. It's never going to go away. It's something people are always going to want to need. And it's not something they think about, but they should.
Yeah. And even like social media changes, like from when I started long time ago to now, my email list has always been there, but I've been on I'm on Pinterest, and then there's TikTok. It's like I'm bouncing around social media, but the email list is always there. So you are 100% right. So what are its strategies right now for visibility, to grow your email list, to bring in leads? Like, what would you tell someone? Because it's been a roller coaster ride, I feel like. So we want to know the latest of what you're seeing here in
For sure.
2026.
Yeah. So for social media, the whole purpose that I help my students and clients understand, the whole purpose of being visible online is to pull people offline to your list and into the DMs. Now I know the DMs are still part of the online platform, but they're not in the main public feed. It's a place where you can have a conversation with somebody. So we need to be using our visibility, using our content strategically to do that, so that we can have conversations in the inbox and we can have conversations in the DMs, because it's the conversations and those connections and building those relationships that is going to lead to sales. You know, and I'm sure you saw this in the online space, between 2020 and 2023, you could create something, throw it out there, people would buy it. It didn't take much work. You could probably even go to the beach while you run it on Evergreen or something. Yeah. And that's not true anymore. It started changing early 2024 is when I started seeing it change. And then here we are in what people are calling the trust recession, and our buyers are slower to buy. They're savvy, and they should be, because there are a lot of people out there taking people's money and not delivering on what they said they would. And so I'm not shocked that we're here where we are with a trust recession. I'm also not shocked that in 2026, people are craving humanity. They don't want to be online, but they also are craving connection.
Yeah.
And AI, that everybody was afraid of, has actually made it better for people like you and me who are okay making connections and having conversations, and we truly care about our students and our clients, and we want to know who they are, and we want to personally help them, because that's something that AI can't give, you know? Yeah. So I'm not, looking back on all the things that have happened over the years, I'm not shocked we are where we are, but that the businesses that take the time to build the connections and the relationships, those are the ones that are going to thrive this year, in my opinion.
And you are a proponent of Facebook groups for doing that, right? Is that kind of the main strategy that you teach?
It's one of many strategies that I teach for visibility and list growth, primarily because when I started this business, I didn't know anything about Instagram. And I was sharing with you before we started the episode that you're asking me if I'm on Instagram. I am, and I laughed only because I'm only there because I have an assistant who puts me there. Otherwise, I don't even think I'd have an account, because it doesn't convert. It's just not anything that's gained any traction. So when I started, it was just me, and I didn't know what Instagram was. I hadn't used it. LinkedIn back then, this is how long ago it was a place to go get a job or be recruited for a job. And it's not what it is now. So Facebook, I was like, okay. I mean, we didn't have Substack. We didn't have Threads. We didn't have this other stuff. I didn't know anything about Pinterest. I was still fairly new to that. And I thought, I can do Facebook. I can do that in my sleep. And so I dove into the platform, and I uncovered over 10 strategies and nooks and crannies of Facebook that it gives you that are free, that will get you so much list growth and so many opt-ins and so many DM conversations, and Facebook groups is one of them. But you can take what I teach about Facebook groups, and you could take it over to a school community that you're in, or over to a community you're in that might be on Kajabi communities or Circle, Heartbeat, Mighty Networks, wherever there's a community. Even LinkedIn groups, even though I don't think they have as much engagement as Facebook groups do. And those other communities, in my opinion, don't either. But yeah, Facebook groups are a great way to be completely immersed with your ideal clients, and also in groups where your collaboration partners are hanging out, because collaborations is what I teach, borrowing other people's audiences, just like what you and I are doing right now. Your audience is listening to me, and I hope that they will come follow me and connect. And then, if you wanted to do another collaboration with like an email list swap or something like that, we could talk about that. But we're both getting visibility by doing what we're doing right now. So you could be in Facebook groups with your ideal clients or collaboration partners. Either way, it's super valuable. And the fun part is that you don't have to sell anybody anything, and you don't have to promote anything to have success in the way that I teach. I do teach my students and clients to use their Facebook personal profile for their business. which makes some people uncomfortable. But when you go to join a Facebook group, you have to join as your personal profile. Very rare. In fact, I was trying to think, do I know any Facebook groups that would allow you to join as a business page? And none of them come to mind. You're always joining as your personal profile. So it's very important that that profile is fully dialed in and tells them who you are, who you serve, and how. And your cover photo leads to list growth. Because when you go forward in a Facebook group where your ideal clients are, you're not in there to sell. You're not in there to promote. Now, if they allow it, do it. But that's not the whole reason why we're there. And this is what made me so successful in sales year over year, was I didn't lead with, I'm going to go sell somebody something. I led with, I'm going to go make connections like a human being, and I'm going to ask that person, what do they need? And if what I have is the best solution, I'll tell them about it. But first, I want to serve. I want to connect as a human, and I want to serve. And so when you go into a Facebook group, just get the lay of the land, kind of, see what's happening, hang out like a fly on the wall. And pretty soon you're going to see your ideal clients, the questions they're asking, the emotions they're feeling. That's going to help you create great content for them. But also, it gives you an opportunity to answer their questions. And by the way that I answer questions in a Facebook group, I'm demonstrating my expertise without having to say, I'm a business and sales coach with over 25 years of experience and, blah, 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 multi-six-figure business and all that. I don't have to say any of that. I just have to say something simple like, this is a great question. This is what I help my clients and students with. Here's 3 tips that might help you. Let me know how this works for you. Mm-hmm. So I've been a human, shared something, and said I have students and clients, which tells them that I'm at least enough of an expert that people are paying me, right?
Exactly.
So I call it promoting without promoting.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel like you have to promote your work or anything. We had, I have a Facebook group, and we had a lawyer who was doing exactly what you said. She was just helping people. And I noticed her. Like, I think that's part of it too. If the people that are running the groups are going to notice you, if you're just helping people, I noticed her. Eventually she became our lawyer, and then she became the lawyer I tell everyone to go to, you know, but it was just because she was herself and helping people. So you're 100% right.
Yeah. And I hope that your listeners kind of exhaled as we were talking through that, knowing that they don't have to worry about making sales. The sales will come. What I want them to focus on is being a really kind human, helping other really kind humans, and exactly what you just said will happen. It doesn't happen overnight. But it does happen in a fairly short period of time if you're in these groups, maybe a couple of times a week, just seeing what's happening, not obviously not commenting on everything, not overdoing it, but just being helpful. Because the personal profile comes into the mix, because when you're in that group and you get curious about Tracy Beavers, because I'm helping, you click on my personal profile and you go there, and I'm offering you something that you want that leads to my list. So you're going to slide right down my list growth funnel. So that's how the Facebook groups, if you don't have the personal profile set up for list growth, it's not going to work as well. But then it allows you to have DM conversations with people, and I don't know, it's just a really great strategy that starts to churn on itself and compound over time.
And they already know you from that group too. So they're not it's not someone just opting in for something and not actually knowing the person behind it, So it's a combo. I love that. They're getting to know you. So then when they do get to maybe your sales page or your sales call, they already know, like, and trust you too from that engagement.
Yeah.
I love that. So what would you tell someone who is a little scared to promote themselves online, and how would you ditch perfectionism?
Oh gosh, such a great question. One of my most downloaded episodes, I think it might be episode 5. I'm not sure. It's about perfectionism. That's a hard one, and everybody struggles with it from time to time. What I have to remind myself of when it comes to perfection, my mom always said perfection was boring, and she's right. It is. When I first started this business, I needed to have a piece of regular weekly content. And I decided I was just going to go live every Thursday at 11:30. That was going to be the easiest thing for me. And I could just push a button and talk to people, deliver some great nuggets and tips and call to action and be done. And I tried to be perfect. And Anna, it was awful. I was so boring. I was such a snore. But I found my way. After doing it live for like a month or two, I remember very clearly I just had loosened up to the point where I'm doing what you see me doing now, which is talking with my hands and, fiddling with my hair and wiping my nose because it's allergy season. You know what I mean? And I did a live training and I came off of it, and some of my friends texted me and they said, I don't know what you had in your coffee today, but that's the best live you've ever done. You finally loosened up. You finally let your goofy self shine through. And you know what? To this day, I will forget to turn my microphone on sometimes. It's going to happen. Or the dog will walk in and throw up in the middle of the floor in the middle of something I'm doing, or it just never fails. There's always something. Or one time I went live and I don't know what happened to my notes, because I always have notes, because I'll get off track. I'll squirrel us off into a ditch and we'll be there for 3 hours and nothing will make any sense. But I don't know what happened to my notes. They were not in order. And I started into that training and following the notes, and about 5 minutes in, I went, is this making any sense to anybody else? Because it's not making any sense to me. Give me a second. Let me fix my notes. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I mean, what are you going to do? So when my students and clients are scared and they're feeling the imposter syndrome and they're feeling like things have to be perfect, I just try to remind them perfection is boring. And people want to connect with people that are human beings, people that they could feel like they could actually sit down and have a cup of coffee with, not somebody who's perfect and polished and, has every hair in place and says the right thing all the time. That kind of person intimidates me, quite frankly.
I love it. Awesome. Well, are you ready for our lightning round, our 10 questions?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Okay, let's go. Speaking of perfectionism, you don't have to be perfect here. Just don't worry. Be yourself. Okay. What season of life are you currently in?
We are empty nesters. Yep. And it's a mind blower.
Yeah. What does meaningful work mean to you right now?
Meaningful work to me means something vastly different than it did when I was younger. Meaningful work for me means changing the lives and minds and hearts of other people so that they are able to chase their dream and build their business. And then, the income always follows. But that's really what it is for me, is just I just really care, and I know you do too, so deeply for the people that come into our programs and hire us.
Yes. Yep. Mission first, for sure. Yeah. What's one thing motherhood or real life has taught you about success?
That it is not guaranteed, that it is, sometimes it comes easy and sometimes it doesn't. And we just have to be willing to ride the roller coaster and not give up.
Yes. What's one rhythm or routine helping you most lately?
So during the week at least, I get up, even though I work for myself, I still get up about the same time as I did if I had a corporate job. And I like to do red light therapy. I like to read my devotion, get my coffee. I stay in my pajamas till probably about 9 a.m., pet the dog, spend some time with him. But that kind of just starts the day off on the right foot.
I love that. That probably sounds like a perfect morning to so many people who are rushing out to corporate. So
yes. For those days.
What is something you're simplifying in this season?
Oh, I have a list I started. There's two sides to the paper. There's joy and there's no joy. And I started it about 6 months ago because I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, what? God, here we go. Groundhog Day. Here we go again. And I thought, what is wrong? And I thought, I started just doing some self-reflection. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing things that no longer make me happy. And one of those things at that time was going live, because I had been going live every Thursday at 11:30 for 5-6 years. Wow. And rarely missed a week. And then we turned that into what is now my podcast about 1.5 years ago. So then there wasn't really a reason to go live. And I thought, I'll just put that on the no joy side right now. Well, I started going live again last week. It feels really good again. But it's stuff like that. It's like just, if something starts to feel heavy, I have to ask myself, should it stay in the joy column or should I move it over to the no joy and let it go? So that helps me simplify.
That's like just a simple thing to do too, but it's profound as far as like what it has you think through. I love that.
Yeah.
What's one small habit that's made a big difference in your life?
The best habit I have developed, I started this when I was a single mom years ago. My mom helped me with it, actually. She's really good at organizing time. And I'd always been good with my time, but I was forgetting things. And I mean, it was just ridiculous. And I was in tears. And she said, well, we just need to get you a better organizational system. And so she helped me figure out that if I planned all next week in advance, that I would actually see my pockets of time where I had space to do some things I wanted to do. And I wouldn't forget if we had a ball practice or if the kids had something at the school or something like that, or, cleaning the house and all the things that you have to do. So every Wednesday, I map out the whole next week. And what was really good about that when I was in corporate and I was trying to build this business was I was able to truly see those pockets of time. And then I had to be honest with myself and the family, because if I saw where Tuesday night we didn't have anything going on, I could work for 2 hours. But then I saw Wednesday night we might have a ball practice or a ball game. And then where are my other pockets of time? And so that actually allowed me to set the office hours I needed to get this thing off the ground. And I still do that to this day. And it's so funny. It's so basic. I have a piece of paper for every day of the week, and I literally am writing everything down. If it's not on the list, it's not going to happen. Even our kids know. They were so funny. Back when they used to live at the house, they'd go, "Hey, remind me to do that, such and such." And I go, "Really? You think I'm going to remember to remind you to do that? Put it on a sticky note and go put it on your mirror in your bedroom," because
I love that.
It's not going to happen. Sorry.
I love that. No, that's so good. I am in that busy season right now of all the activities. So I have like my weekly plan of what the week is supposed to look like. And so I get it. It's a busy one around here too. So I love that. And I love that you did it on Wednesdays. I definitely just thought, I'm like, because I do it on like Saturday mornings, but maybe there's a thing to like midweek, then maybe I could enjoy the weekend a little more.
Yeah. And the reason why I did it on Wednesday was because if by any chance anybody had a birthday or something coming up Monday, I still had time to get a card in the mail. That was the whole, because there were the birthday cards I was forgetting and this, all that. Oh my gosh, we got to get a gift for so-and-so. The dinner's on Monday. But it took the stress off of the weekend, but it also allowed me to have a real good view of what's happening so that Monday didn't come and I wasn't smacked in the face with something that I had forgotten.
I love that. Coffee shop work day or working from home?
Okay, this is funny. I saw this question and I was like, I have to answer it honestly. As much as I would love to go sit in a coffee shop, I am a work from home girl, and my kids just tease me because we even have my car plugged in so that the battery doesn't die or drain out too fast, because the car leaves the house once a week for me to go to the chiropractor, and that's it. And I get groceries delivered, and I mean, if I don't have to leave the house, I don't leave the house. It's terrible.
That's great. It must be a very peaceful and relaxing house. I love it. What book are you currently reading?
And this one kind of stumped me because I'm not a big reader. I used to be a reader. And then building this business alongside the corporate job, I didn't have time to read books. So I haven't read a book in a while. And I was trying to think if I had any audiobooks that I'd loved lately. I really haven't. What I've been doing more of is podcasts, and all different kinds of shows. Some are about relationships. Some of them are about personal development. Some will be about just silly, current events.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm just doing podcasts right now.
Yeah. And I think it goes in seasons too, where you have the like consumption, read. And then I've had the same where I'm like, I can't read anymore. I just got to create. And that's what you're doing too, right? Like create. So there's other people like you too. It's if you can't read, you just create something, like create your
Right.
own, like I'm writing in the midst of writing a book now too. So it's like
Oh, that's
less,
exciting.
less reading, more writing. I'm just,
Yes.
creating my own.
Yeah.
What's bringing you joy lately? Back to the joy list. What's bringing you
Yeah.
joy lately?
Um, figuring out how much fun it is to be an empty nester. Because at first I was really sad. I was like, okay, this stinks. Emily's 27, Jack's 23. He just graduated from college. He's living in St. Louis. He's not coming home. Emily's here, but we hardly see her. And my husband's over there going, yeah, he's so excited. And I'm just like, yeah, but the kids aren't here. And he's like, okay, but now we get to do some fun stuff. And so we went to Europe. I went to Europe twice in 2024, and then we just went to Scotland last month, and that was amazing. Just he and I. So yeah, it's been fun. It's like we're starting to cook dinner together again, just because we can take our time and nobody's in a rush to go to a meeting or anything. And yeah, it's been fun.
Love that. And last question, what's one encouragement you would give a busy mom listening today?
That she's doing way better than she thinks she is. She really is. And not every day is going to be smooth, you know. It's a juggle like you and I have experienced and talked about a little bit here. But yeah, just do wake up each day and do the best you can. And that's all you can do. But you're doing way better than you're giving yourself credit for.
Yes, definitely. Okay, where can people find you online? Tell us about you have a free Facebook group, you have a podcast. Tell us where we can find you.
Yeah. So if they love podcasts, which they probably do because they're listening to this one, I would love for them to listen to mine. It's called Create Online Business Success. And it's been so much fun. And my son is my podcast manager. So he makes makes the audio sound good and puts all the pieces together for me. I'm just hoping he doesn't quit now that he's out of college. We'll see. And then my free Facebook group is called Be a Confident Entrepreneur. And you can find it very easily by going to Facebook and searching groups, or you can just come to my personal profile. There'll be a link there. And I'm easy to find on Facebook. I'm Tracy Beavers.
Yep, and we'll make sure all the links are in the description as well too. And I just joined your free Facebook group too, so you might see me in there as well too. So
I would love to have you there.
yes, thank you so much, Tracy, for joining us today. This was fun.
Thanks for having me.